Rama continued, "Equally useless, O sage, is wealth which deludes the ignorant. Unsteady and fleeting, this wealth gives birth to numerous worries and generates an insatiable craving for more. Wealth is no respecter of persons. Both the good and the wicked can become wealthy. However, people are good, compassionate and friendly only till their hearts are hardened by the passionate pursuit of wealth. Wealth taints the heart even of the wise scholar, a hero, a man of gratitude, and a dexterous and soft-spoken person. Wealth and happiness do not dwell together. Rare is that wealthy man who does not have rivals and enemies who scandalize him." So he's having a go at wealth here, which is really quite pertinent to our times, I suppose, when the pursuit of wealth is seen as the whole point of things. But Rama really gets stuck in against that philosophy. Now we've got a wealth of similes here, or metaphors. To the lotus of right action, wealth is the night. To the white lotus of sorrow, it is the moonlight. To the lamp of clear insight, it is the wind. To the wave of enmity, it is the flood. To the cloud of confusion, it is the favourable wind. To the poison of despondency, it is the aggravating agent. It is like the serpent of evil thoughts, and it adds fear to one's distress. It is destructive snowfall to the creeper of dispassion. It is the nightfall to the owl of evil desires. It is the eclipse of the moon of wisdom. In its presence a person's good nature shrivels. Indeed, wealth seeks him who has already been chosen by death. So there we have it for wealth. It is not a good thing, apparently, although one wonders how he would have applied that to his father, Dasaratha, the king. Even so is the lifespan, O sage. Its duration is like that of a water droplet on a leaf. The lifespan is fruitful only to those who have self-knowledge. We may encompass the wind, we may break up space, we may string waves into a garland, but we cannot pin our faith on the lifespan. Man vainly seeks to extend his lifespan, and thereby he earns more sorrow and extends the period of suffering. Only he lives who strives to gain self-knowledge, which alone is worth gaining in this world, thereby putting an end to future births. Others exist here like donkeys. To the unwise, knowledge of scriptures is a burden. To one who is full of desires, even wisdom is a burden. To one who is restless, his own mind is a burden. And to one who has no self-knowledge, the body, the lifespan, is a burden. The rat of time gnaws at the lifespan without respite. The termite of disease destroys the very vitals of the living being. Just as a cat, intent on catching a rat, looks at it with great alertness and readiness, death is ever keeping a watch over this lifespan. So, after having indicated the pointlessness of the pursuit of wealth, he now talks about our limited lifespan. I suppose there's one thing we can always say. It is the one certainty is that we're going to die. And not only that, the amount of time we've got left is decreasing all the time. So we've got a limited and more limited amount of time available to us. And what do we do with it? Well, according to Rama, the only thing that's worth doing is self-knowledge, is the pursuit of self-knowledge. And in that lies wisdom. And our attitude to wisdom, I suppose, indicates where we are. He says, to the unwise, knowledge of scriptures is a burden. In other words, why bother with scriptures? Why bother? Now we're assuming here that a scripture is a book of wisdom, a book which can point us to the truth. Many of us might not have that experience of scriptures. I'm thinking of the scriptures particularly which have arisen from the Middle East. They seem to have little elements of truth in them, but by and large they're more like folk stories and full of quite a lot of not very nice stuff actually. But let's not get into that. To one who is full of desires, even wisdom is a burden. If you're full of desires, you just don't want to know about this, do you? You're too busy pursuing your desires. And this is all a bit irrelevant, really. To one who is restless, his own mind is a burden. And to one who has no self-knowledge, life itself, the body, is a burden. So there's not really that many directions we can really go in if we're wanting to make the most of our time here.